Hello, my lovely peaches. How are you? Welcome. And welcome back if you're new. I said that yesterday by accident, and then I fixed it, but then I told my son that I had said, welcome back if you're new, and he thought that that was funny. So, so welcome back if you're new, and welcome back, either way. So this is going to be another part of me listening to Jeffrey Lacasse's police interviews.
At lovedreamingpeach.com.
I will again mention that this is from Deep Dive True Crime Mentor Lawyers page. Thank you very much. I will link the video and link his channel. And just to remind you, if you're coming into this one and you didn't watch the other ones, Jeffrey Lacasse is being interviewed by the police on 3 separate occasions talking about the murder of Dan Markel. And this video and all of these videos that I do are in the pursuit of justice for Dan Markel and to see the people who I believe are responsible for his horrific and unnecessary murder will be held accountable. And I personally believe that Wendy Adelson was the ringleader and the master of puppets. And many people believe that it was Donna, her mother, who's up for trial. And her trial was just pushed back because of a whole big old mess from Daniel Rashbaum, the, I believe, corrupt lawyer. So, but this video is going to be me continuing to listen to the interviews. So I'm currently in the middle of this. This is 3 parts. July 21st, July 23rd, and then March 6th of 2014 and 2015. The first video I did on this, I really just went through and I was looking for where Jeffrey specifically mentioned Wendy, but then I just decided that I really want to just continue. So I might do, I never went through every minute of what he said in the very first interview. To be honest, I'd rather just kind of keep going. So the first video I did on this was me going through the transcript and finding where he specifically mentioned Wendy. The second video was me doing about a 10-minute clip of his second interview where I left off here. This video is going to be me continuing with this. So I don't know how far I'm going to get. Let's see, it's at 56 minutes and he's almost done with this second interview. Let's see, he's got, all right, so it's about 5 minutes left of this second interview, and then at 1:02 it starts the third interview, which he did 8 months later, after he had a lot more time to think and to go through his notes and to get over his heartbreak and get the spell of being in love with Wendy was fading. And he also had been waiting for them to find somebody. He was like, I was hoping you were going to catch somebody, and but now I need to talk. And so that video is the whole rest of it. So it's over an hour. So maybe I'll just get through the end of the second interview today, because another thing that I learned is that my new computer is very limited as far as space. So if you're interested in these and you want to join me on this journey, then please enjoy the video and don't forget to hit the bell notification, because every time I put out a new video, I will add it to the playlist, and then you can join the journey of trying to uncover evidence about Wendy Adelson's guilt, which I believe that Jeffrey Lacasse her ex-boyfriend has a lot of things to say. So again, just to remind you, the purpose of what I'm doing is I'm going to let it play for a clip, then I'm going to rewind it, I'm going to read the captions of what he said, then I may comment on it, and then I will play it again and move forward. So this video is going to be a little bit of a slow turtle going forward, back, but the purpose of it is to analyze what he's saying and to uncover evidence. So again, I will remind you and invite you to go to Mentor Lawyer's page, listen to the video yourself if you want to just hear it full without interruptions.
The camera and her smile and it looked great. So it's just weird. Notice that where the kids about. I mean, when you want to picture your kids look good. There's other pictures in this photo set where the kids looking at the camera and her smile and
so I'm going to let this section go, and then I'm not going to go back and repeat it because this is where I left off on the last video, but I wanted to just kind of pick up where we left off.
Look great. So it's just weird. And I'm not trying to do your job for you to be like an FBI profiler, but it was a thing.
Right.
And that one of the last things would be, it still is, I don't want to be the disgruntled ex-boyfriend, but it's really strange to me that she's never contacted me. It's very strange. We were co-parenting for 6 months. We've talked about Danny for hundreds of hours. No one knows that case better than, as far as her friends, than me. It's really, really odd. I mean, your ex-wife and you are strange. You're fighting, you're separated. Her dad gets hit by a car. You pick up the phone and call, usually, you know? So there's a rigidity to this no contact thing. It just strikes me as very, very odd. She is, I know you said, hey, I wouldn't take that personally. I'm not taking it personally. We're done. I would get it, you know. But what I am taking it as is, it almost looks guilty to me. It looks really strange. Why wouldn't you call for putting these kids to bed for the last 6 months? And then ride around in a minivan with them. You care about these kids. She knows that. Even if we're over, not a text message, not a phone call. It looks strange to me. So.
Right. And even more so in lieu of recent events.
Well, that's what I mean, is that when that happened, I didn't expect to hear from her that day. You guys hit her, you know, into the night. I know all that kind of stuff. But I still haven't heard a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That just is very, very strange. Maybe she's just a cold-blooded, damaged, needy woman that decided she was done with me, maybe. But
that's where I was at the other one. So we're going to go back now. I'm going to read it. Wow. Man, that is messed up. So, okay, so he says, all right, I'm not trying to do your job for you to be like a profiler, but it was a thing, right? Okay. So one of the last things would be, it still is, I don't want to be the disgruntled ex-boyfriend, but really strange to me that she's never contacted me. It's very strange. We were co-parenting for 6 months. We've talked about Danny for hundreds of hours. No one knows that case better than, out of her friends, than me. That case meaning, well, in one of the trials, Georgia Kappelman had brought out this case file that was like this thick, a binder this thick, the case of the divorce between Dan Markel and Wendy Adelson. So this is what he's saying. He knows, and actually I believe that he wrote some points, some parenting points of contention or something that Wendy had asked him just like a week or so before this whole thing went down, like, hey, I'm going to court and I need to show like what Danny's doing wrong, and Jeffrey had written something up based on the lies that Wendy had told her about Dan, I believe. So he's saying he knows that case better than any of the friends. It's really, really odd. I mean, your ex-wife and you are estranged, you're fighting, you're separated, her dad gets hit by a car, you pick up the phone and call. I think he's using her dad gets hit by a car as an example. Why are there balloons? An example of, you know, an extremely tragic situation where you would think that the person would reach out to you. Yeah, we're broken up and stuff, but we've been extremely close all this time, and this tragic thing happens, and you don't even pick up the phone and call. Usually, you know, there's a rigidity to this no contact thing. It strikes me as very, very odd. She is, hey, I know you said, hey, I wouldn't take that personally. I'm not taking it personally. We're done, you know, but what I am taking it is it almost looks guilty. It looks really strange, but my kids are home, by the way. Happy Rosh Hashanah, anyone who celebrates.
You care about these kids. She
Happy
knows
New
that
Year.
even if we're over. Not a text message, not a phone call. It looks strange to me. I ride around in a minivan with them. These flip plane, we're done. I get it, you know. But what I am taking it as is, it almost looks guilty to me. It looks really strange. Why wouldn't you call for putting these kids to bed for the last 6 months?
All right, so he said it almost, okay, so I'm not taking it personally, but what I am taking it is it almost looks guilty. It looks really strange, but why wouldn't you call? I put these kids to bed for the last 6 months and rode around in a minivan with them. I care about these kids. She knows that even if we're over, not a text message, not a phone call, it looks strange to me. So, and the cop says, right. And even more so, oh, and the cop says, and even more so in lieu of recent events, which is like the whole fucking point. That's what Jeffrey's saying. Like, yeah, in lieu of recent events, the fact that Dan Markel, the fact that this man that she complained to me about, that he was Satan for the past 9 months, and now he was shot dead on a Friday. And that Monday, the Monday of that week. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. Okay, I have my little book here with the calendar. All right, look. So on Monday, wait, I have a hair stuck there. All right, and I can't see. Okay, so on Monday, they had that weird, awkward date where they broke up, and then she was like, when they were walking away, going to their cars, she's like, oh wait, where are you gonna be Friday? And he's like, what the fuck? Why is she asking me? Where am I going to be on Friday when we just broke up and we're not going to see each other and we have nothing to do with each other? And he had been planning to go out of town on a trip in his car where he was going to be driving on a specific highway at a specific time that would be taking him about 10 minutes or less away from where Dan lived. And she knew that, okay? And so he's just looking back like, that's so weird. And then he goes to the trip. He leaves Thursday night. She may or may not have known that because he told some friends who might have told her. But as far as he knew, she, you know, he had told her he was leaving Friday. Okay, so he leaves Thursday instead. Dan gets shot on Friday. He comes back on the 21st. So Friday was the 18th. So let me write this down. All right, so Dan was tragically and senselessly murdered he was shot on Friday, July 18th of 2014. Jeff had gone out of town on the 17th instead of the 18th. Then Dan actually died on the 19th. Jeff was still out of town. Then, so here it is, the day that this is right here, you can see it says July 23rd of 2014. So it's Wednesday. Okay. So that's what I was saying. On the Monday, they're breaking up, but she's like, where are you going to be Friday? And then that Friday, Dan is murdered. And he's saying he cares about these kids. He's been co-parenting them. He's been putting them to bed at night. He's been driving them around and everything. But then at the same time, he also said, except so he would be with them and her for like the full week, which he had them. Then the second that she dropped them off with Dan Markel, boom, she was down to South Florida and to go back to Miami, where she had a whole nother life, where she had another boyfriend, where she was obviously getting to have a boyfriend where she didn't have to deal with being with the kids. So whatever lifestyle she had with the other boyfriend down there was a single, kid-free type of relationship, while she's using Jeff Lacasse up in Tallahassee to be her co-parent. So the weeks that she doesn't have the children are with Dan. Dan is taking care of the children, and she's down in Miami fucking off and doing whatever with whoever. I think there was a guy, I don't know what his name was, I don't remember, John or something. And then when she goes back to Tallahassee, where she doesn't want to be, she's working at a job where she doesn't want to work, with her ex-husband at the same university. I mean, she wasn't working with him. I'm sure she could have easily avoided him, but she hated it, and she didn't want to be there. And like Jeffrey says in one part, he says she didn't choose this, and that made it hard for her being in Tallahassee. She felt she was trapped because Dan refused to go back down to Miami, and so she wasn't allowed to leave with the children. And so the summer before this, when Jeff and her hadn't met yet, but she was telling him about what had happened, she was denied her petition to take the kids down to Miami. And that's when Charlie, supposedly her brother Charlie, who's now in jail for life without possibility of parole for the murder of Dan Markel, for hiring his ex-girlfriend, who got her ex, her baby's daddy, to do it. And then her baby's daddy roped in his childhood friend Luis Rivera, who went for the ride and ended up, that was a huge mistake. But back to, so Wendy told Jeff about it, that, oh, well, Charlie looked into getting a hitman when she wanted to take the kids. So he found that chilling, okay? And what I find chilling is that this came out 5 days later, 5 days after that man was murdered. Jeffrey was back doing his second interview, giving them all of this information, and they buried it. They sat on it. They Willie Megs'd it. And now here it is, 2024, and she's still walking free. Okay, so not even a text message, not a phone call. It looks strange to me. Right, and even more so in lieu of these recent events. Well, that's what I mean. I didn't expect to hear from her the day it happened. You guys had her on till the end of the night. I know all that kind of stuff. Still haven't heard anything. That is just very, very strange. Maybe she's just a cold-blooded, damaged, needy woman. Maybe she's just a cold-blooded, damaged, needy woman that decided she was done with me. Maybe. But if there's any interest in her at all, there's a lot of sociopathic stuff here. It seems like...
That's all I had to say. I just thought you'd want to know that.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of sociopathic stuff here, it seems like. The ease with which she lies is really disturbing.
That's what he said. There's a lot of sociopathic stuff here. It seems like the ease with which she lies is really disturbing. So that's all I had to say. I just thought you would want to know that. But yeah. Wow. Mm, mm, mm. All right, so let's listen again, and then we'll let it keep going.
So it's just weird. And I'm not trying to do your job for you to be like an FBI profiler, but it was a thing.
Right.
And that one of the last things would be, it still is, I don't want to be the disgruntled ex-boyfriend, but it's really strange to me that she's never contacted me. It's very strange. We were co-parenting for 6 months. We've talked about Danny for hundreds of hours. No one knows that case better than, as far as her friends, than me. It's really, really odd. I mean, your ex-wife and you are estranged, you're fighting, you're separated, her dad gets hit by a car, you pick up the phone and call, usually, you know? So there's a rigidity to this no contact thing. It just strikes me as very, very odd. She is, I know you say, hey, I wouldn't take that personally. I'm not taking it personally. We're done. I get it, you know. But what I am taking it as is, it almost looks guilty to me. It looks really strange. Why wouldn't you call for putting these kids to bed for the last 6 months? And ride around in a minivan with them. You care about these kids. She knows that. Even if we're over, not a text message, not a phone call. It looks strange to me. So.
Right. And even more so in lieu of recent events.
Well, that's what I mean, is that when that happened, I didn't expect to hear from her that day. You guys hit her on, you know, into the night. I know all that kind of stuff. But I still haven't heard.
And actually, she did leave at 7:50. So I don't know. Does 7:50 p.m. Qualify as all late into the night? I don't know. I mean, she was there from like 3:30. It was a 5 plus. It was under 6 hours, but I think Wendy told Jeff that she was there for like 8 or 9 hours. I don't know, but just another lie.
Heard anything. That just is very, very strange. Maybe she's
an exaggeration.
Just a cold-blooded, damaged, needy woman that decided she was done with me, maybe. But if there's any interest in her at all, there's a lot of sociopathic stuff here, it seems like. The ease with which she lies is really disturbing. So that's all I had to say. I just thought you'd want to know that.
Okay. Yeah, well, I got you here. I did want to run down on some of your, I printed out your stuff that you sent me here. Let me just flip through it and try and find it.
So you can see the notes down here. I'm just going to pause it because that background hum. Oh, by the way, I mentioned that in the other video, but I didn't mention it yet. That background hum in the police interview is so loud, and that's another reason why I am letting it play, rewinding it, and reading it, because it's very loud. So Jeffrey Lacasse gave 3 recorded interviews to the police, and several other interactions were documented in a police report. Here are the recorded interviews from July 21st of 2014, July 23rd of 2014, which is where we're at almost at the very end of it, and March 6th of 2015, which is the second half. I'll probably do that next. A police report from August of 2014 is also in the video right after this interview. These interviews have been edited primarily to remove long periods where he's sitting alone in the interview room waiting for TPD, Tallahassee Police Department. They've also been edited to remove health information, phone numbers, and other irrelevant private information. At the time of these interviews, the investigation remained confidential, and the information we learned from the 2 trials was not publicly available. It was not publicly known that on the day of the murder, Wendy Adelson had driven past the crime scene and purchased Bullet whiskey. Is that a total coincidence? Is that a sick joke like her owl t-shirt ode to Luis Rivera posting on Instagram the night before the murder? Hey, we're down here in Tallahassee, by posting an owl that he saw while he was sitting in his car in the parking lot of the hotel, motel, whatever. That's my thoughts. Wendy Adelson's lawyer had issued, had issued a public statement saying that she was, quote, cooperating with police. Tallahassee Police Department had not yet reported publicly that Wendy Adelson, after her initial interrogation, had actually hung up on investigator Isom and lawyered up when he tried to reach out to her for more information. That bitch is guilty as fuck. Wendy provided limited cooperation thereafter under the protection of her attorney and testified under limited use immunity. These combined interviews appear here for the first time, and that was on January 4th of 2024, which is 10 months ago because it's October 3rd of 2024 now. All right, I had to turn this other light off. It's like giving me a headache again. Kudos, fangirling, big ups to Grizzly True Crime, Strategic Eyes. What is his actual name? They are so amazing. The fact that they are able to do this for hours and hours and hours, I'm just like, wow. It takes so much effort. Strategic True crime with strategic eyes. Show True Crime with Strategic Eyes and Grizzly True Crime. Please go follow them. They are amazing. They are an inspiration. They can go for hours. So let's continue.
Okay, and this actually is a little bit better to kind of have something tangible to look at, to kind of see where you are and where you were going and stuff like that.
I'm a little out of order for the one that cleared, but yeah.
Okay, so this day's in was actually, even though it says the 18th, I talked to the clerk and she said you were there on the 17th.
Yeah, Thursday night.
Thursday night, which is what you said.
Yeah.
You know, so this is mainly done for exclusionary
I got it.
purposes.
I'm not worried.
So I got you here. And then when did this transaction occur? Like, it doesn't have a time. Can you give me kind of more of a specific time?
Thomasville?
Yes.
That would have been on the way there, so 9, 10 o'clock.
Another great black stripe. So
PM.
Yeah.
So they're just looking through the receipts of Jeffrey's trip, the hotel receipt that he was there Thursday the 17th, and on his way down there to Thomasville, I guess there was another receipt.
And then when did this transaction occur? Like, it doesn't have a time. Can you give me kind of more of a specific time?
Thomasville?
Yes.
That would have been on the way there, so 9, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock at night.
PM.
Yeah.
And do you remember what time you got into the Days Inn?
Days in.
Before midnight.
Motel.
Let's think about it. I left here around 8. I wasn't going to drive past midnight. It might have been 12:15 or something. But I went from here to South Atlanta, average of 75 or something like that. It might have been 12:15 or something. But her south Atlanta, you know, average of 75 or something like that.
There's a South
And
Atlanta.
then $37 in gas on Friday.
And where's that at?
You bought $37
At
in
Ayersville,
gas.
Georgia.
Yeah, that would have been somewhere between Atlanta and Tennessee.
And that was on, this was actually,
So he bought $37 worth of gas on
Where's
Friday.
at Ayersville, Georgia.
Yeah,
Ayersville,
that would have been somewhere
Georgia.
between Atlanta and Tennessee.
And that was on, this was actually on Friday.
It was.
Okay, so even though this one says transaction date, it was close enough to the 18th that it may not have went through until after
You
midnight.
know, it might have been 12:05 when he pulled the trigger on it or something.
Pulled the
Well, you
trigger.
said anywhere
Uh-oh,
between 12
he
and
said
12:15
pulled the trigger. He meant gas, but wow.
Okay.
That was a bad.
And you
Metaphor.
said you got out of here about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it was about almost exactly 9. Just as a thought experiment, I would have stopped in front of a truck for this woman.
Mhm.
I'm a mature 42-year-old guy who's dated a lot of women and she just got caught into the spell. So that combined with just the, I think that's kind of unusual when you have 2 boyfriends. I think that takes a certain lack of conscience, you know what I mean? So that's how easily she did that.
Mhm.
Just makes me wonder, I really hope she's not involved at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she is, but I mean,
I don't think she is.
time will tell.
I don't think she'd be directly involved, but as an accessory at this point, I
Heard
gotta tell
what
you,
he
that's in my head.
said?
So I just wanted you to know that directly. You know, and I kind of got caught in front of. Yeah.
And you said you got out of here about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it was about almost exactly 9. Just as a thought experiment, I would have stopped in front of a truck for this woman.
Just as a thought experiment, I would have stopped in front of a truck for this woman.
I'm a mature 42-year-old guy who's dated
I'm a mature 42-year-old
a
guy
lot of women and she just got caught into the spell.
who's dated.
This woman. I'm a mature 42-year-old guy who's dated a lot of women and she just got caught into the spell.
Who's dated a lot. Oh, I just got caught in the spell.
So that combined with just the, I think that's kind of unusual when you have 2 boyfriends. I think that
That combined with it's kind of unusual to have 2 boyfriends. I think
takes a certain lack of conscience, you know what?
that takes a certain lack of conscience, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how easily
What
she
I
did
mean?
that.
So that's how easily she
Just
did
makes me
that.
wonder.
Just makes me wonder.
I really hope she's not involved at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Let me go back and do that without. Exactly. Just as a thought experiment, I would have stopped in front of a truck for this woman. I'm a mature 42-year-old guy who's dated. I just got caught in the spell. So that combined with the, I think that's just kind of unusual to have 2 boyfriends. I think that takes a certain lack of conscience. You know what I mean? So just how easily she did that just makes me wonder. I really hope she's not involved at all. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she is, the cop said. But, I mean, time will tell. I don't think she'd be directly involved. But as an accessory at this point, I got to tell you, that's in my head. So I just wanted you to know that. I don't know. A lot more data, I'm sure. Yeah. Wow. And this cop is like, nah. It won't, Wendy. She don't worry, man. Bitch. Why are you even saying that to him? Like, that seems inappropriate to me that he's even saying that.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, it was about almost exactly 9. Just as a thought experiment, I would have stopped in front of a truck for this woman. I'm a mature 42-year-old guy who's dated a lot of women and she just got caught into the spell. So that combined with just the, I think that's kind of unusual when you have 2 boyfriends. I think that takes us just the, dated a lot of women and she just got caught into the spell. So that combined with just the, I think that's kind of unusual when you have 2 boyfriends. I think that takes a certain lack of conscience, you know what I mean? So that's
I know what you mean.
how easily she did that. Just makes me wonder. I really hope she's not involved at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she is, but I mean, time will tell.
I don't think she'd be directly involved, but as an accessory at this point, I gotta tell you, that's in my head.
Zing.
So I just wanted you to
You
know
got
that.
it.
I don't know. You know a lot more data than I do.
Sure, yeah.
No, actually, Jeff, you had the
If you
day.
don't have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
I appreciate you coming in, and if you want to go ahead and send me that email, if you still got it.
Yeah, I'll find that email.
And then, like I said, you got my email, you got my phone number. Anything else arises, let me know. If you do have subsequent contact with her,
Yeah.
and you guys have a conversation that you think is of note,
I'll let you
Or
know.
no, maybe
Yeah,
we
well,
did.
I think we're probably done. If you need anything from me, let me know, but that's all I had.
okay.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming in.
All right, so I'll read this and then I'll end the video here, and then the next time I'll start on the next. On August 12th of 2014, Jeffrey Lacasse came to the police department after calling me and asking to meet with me the day prior. He advised me he was going through old text messages and discovered the following. He and his ex-girlfriend, Wendy Adelson, were supposed to go to California July 11th through the 17th. He advised they made reservations on April 30th, and Wendy Adelson later canceled the reservations on June 4th of 2014, which I believe was the first time that Dan was supposed to be murdered. That I think the story was that they were driving down Dan's street and Sigfredo says, "That's Wendy," or "That's her," and they decided not to do it. He also advised that he heard from Wendy and other friends that Wendy's brother Charlie texted her last week and asked her to go out and celebrate. He further stated that while Wendy was at dinner with Charlie, she vomited at the table, according to what Wendy told Jeff. He thought all of this to be highly suspicious in lieu of the recent homicide. Lacasse further advised Wendy went to Guatemala March 13th through the 15th. He stated she seemed different after her trip to that country. Lacasse did not elaborate any further. He provided that Wendy told him over the telephone that people were saying that she wanted to leave Tallahassee, and she told him that she did not want to leave Tallahassee. Lacasse told me that this statement was completely contradictory to the way she felt about Tallahassee and wanting to go to South Florida. He also told me that Wendy had a boyfriend in South Florida. He did not know who this individual was and could not provide any further. In speaking to Lacasse, he believed that Wendy Adelson may be indirectly responsible for the murder of her ex-husband, Daniel Markel. When I informed him that Wendy was not a suspect, he stated, "Well, she should be." And the fact, this is so enraging that here we are, 10 years, July, August, September, October, 10 years and 3 months later, and she's still walking free. So, in order so that my computer can manage this video, and also since we are here about to start the next interview chunk, I will stop the video here. And if you are enjoying these videos and you are interested in Wendy Adelson Arrest Watch, and you'd like to continue on this journey with me while I go through these videos my own way. Obviously, there are tons of creators, as I've already said. Some I mentioned do cover this case. Some I don't mention cover this case. There's tons of information out there. The fact is that this is a 10-year-old case, so it's certainly not breaking news. However, there is a lot of new stuff happening, and hopefully soon, very soon, we will be getting breaking news about Wendy Adelson getting arrested. I have lost most hope. Obi-Wan, you're our only hope. But I'm hoping that Jack Campbell, the district attorney in Tallahassee, will actually do something. I was actually thinking maybe I should write a letter. If people can write letters and get shit done, I don't know, but if I could write a letter, I would write a letter. But the thing that I am doing is I'm doing videos like this. I'm hoping to keep the interest alive and to get more people to see and to understand why Wendy Adelson should be behind bars and why it's not okay that she's just walking around free, literally getting away with murder. So join me, and don't forget, hit subscribe, hit the bell so that you can see all the new videos when they get put out, and I will link to the playlist at the end of this. So I'll put the last video that I just did over here or over there, and you can subscribe to me over here, and then there'll be the playlist, but that'll be on the outro. So see you in the next one. Bye. Don't forget to like, to comment, add your questions and your thoughts. Okay, bye.
At lovedreamingpeach.com. At lovedreamingpeach.com.